We're gonna take this apart and see what's inside. Anytime you're using dangerous, super corrosive chemicals that might react with whatever you pour it on, make sure you check with the manufacturer about what it can touch before you have an emergency. This isn't how I wanted to clean the heat exchanger. I think this pan is melting. Anyways, with that said, here it comes. All right, I got my motor exposed here. And the first step is going to be to get the water pump hose off, the return hose, and the hose that goes to the exhaust. And as you can probably see, these hose clamps and this hose end looks bad, the hose looks okay, but it's not, it needs to be replaced. You know, all these are things that could blow up at any second. Gosh, that hose is on there good. There it goes. I'm trying real careful not to leak any coolant, but if it does come out, it's going to go into the bucket under the engine, and I can capture that with a suction device I have. These hoses are stuck on there. Look at this. Nope. Okay, good. What is that? Some kind of like pipe sealant, maybe? Someone's watching saying, why doesn't he get all those wires fixed up and yeah, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? I'm not an electrician, but I came in here and thought, okay, what would I do if I wanted to clean up all these wires? Now, this wasn't here before. I don't know. I think this zip tie fell or something. But, yeah. I looked around at where I could route the wires differently, and yeah, it might make it look neater and stuff, but I kind of like being able to see where everything goes and follow it easily, where if it's all cleaned up and zip tied tightly, it's hard to tell where anything goes. God darn it, there's one more hose way over there that I can't get to. There's coolant in that one, so I'm going to prop it up here on this fuel line like this. What I've decided to do is, since it's time to change the oil anyways, and this has more than a 1/2 inch deflection, so I need to adjust my alternator here, the belt tension. I'm just going to loosen this, swing the alternator in, take the belt off. That'll give me access to this hose over here. So I'm going to replace that hose anyways. I think it's a good time to just replace these coolant hoses since I'm doing this. Comes into contact with part of the engine there, so you can't tilt it more than that. That gives me a little room though. I'm fighting with this head right there. Screw won't fit in it. It's rusted. Oh yeah. I took my shirt off, so you know it's getting serious. All right, cool. I got that hose loosened. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this fluid transfer pump to siphon out the fluid, I hope. I love this fluid transfer. You know that I emptied my whole fuel tank with this thing. It's just good for anything. That's the coolant that was in that hose. God, you know, I remember working on the Catalina 22. Couldn't do this. You have to go over to the bathrooms in the marina. Can't wash your hands or anything, so it's one good thing about being in a boat that's a little bigger. Of course, I wouldn't be doing all this dumb stuff if I had a Catalina 22. Alright, so nothing should be holding this heat exchanger on anymore. Alright, here we go. That's it. And there she blows. Look at that. You know, part of this, where this water comes in from my seacock, it comes in right into the water pump. No sea strainer. Crazy, right? That's how it was when I bought the boat. It was like that for who knows how long and whatever. But I didn't like it, so I bought a sea strainer. I mounted it, I think like right here. Yeah, there's the screws right there. So what is that, like another 6 inches higher? And I ran it, and like the second or third hour into running, all of a sudden water stopped coming out the exhaust port, and the sea strainer was dry. For some reason, it was getting air in the system and just didn't want to pump it through it. So I had to anchor and stick this back on, and that was I don't know how long ago. So I do want to put that back on, but I feel like it needs to be lower so that it can be more in the water line, and not have to pump the water up so high. Is that true? I haven't looked on the internet and see. If anyone knows anything, let me know. Well, if you're watching this video, you probably like boats. So let's take a second at the business end of our jet boat here. This is a single engine jet boat, and the reason I'm showing you this is because it also has a heat exchanger. The jet boat has a single nozzle on this one, and it sucks the water into that from that there, and it comes out this nozzle here. You can move this bucket up and down with a throttle, which will shoot water sideways if you want to go in reverse. Pretty simple. That's how a jet boat works. This jet boat happens to be a closed loop system. I think they all are, including jet skis. This is basically a 250 horsepower supercharged jet ski engine. Anyways, the ride plate is the heat exchanger. So somewhere in here, water comes into this, it circulates all around, and it goes back out the other side. This is underwater, so my coolant from the engine is cooled by the seawater. The drawback to that is that if you lose your coolant, your engine will overheat and blow up. If the pro to that is that you don't have any seawater or salt water inside of your engine. We made it home, and we brought the winch handle pocket, which, man, this thing's so sticky. I'm tempted to just go buy a new one, but I went online and I read that we can use Murphy's oil soap, which should take that stickiness off. So let's try and save this before we just throw it away, right? Then we have the heat exchanger. It is off, it is home, and put some gloves on. We're gonna take this apart and see what's inside. My first step is going to get this hose off here. Okay. Get a new hose there. 2 inspection covers on each side. A little bit of wear there where it's been rubbing on something. It's not worn through. Nothing too abnormal in there, except that where the zinc goes in, it was just a bunch of pieces in there like this. And broken off the end. Clean that out real well. So there's just a little seaweed in there, not much. I mean, everything looks pretty good. It just has this green stuff on it. I do see a couple problems with this. Not problems meaning I can't use this heat exchanger anymore, but issues that could have caused more problems later. I'm going to show those to you. All right. First of all, I'm getting how this thing works now. I'm going to shine a light through it so you can see. You see how those are like tubes. So this thing's pretty solid. It's heavy. It's like tubes inside. A bunch of you probably already know this, but anyways, the water travels through those tubes, and because the whole thing's like a big heat sink, it will, you know, it transfers the heat. But what I found is, look at the bottom there. Let's see if I can angle this right. Those bottom parts there, a couple of them are blocked. It's not going to transfer heat as well when all these little tubes have whatever the hell this is on it. So how do you clean one of these out inside? I'm going to use the method that everyone says to use. That is barnacle buster. So, at the grocery store, I found this turkey cooking pan, and basically this thing needs to be submerged in the barnacle buster. I just rinsed it all out, and I'll probably do it like, you know, put it in there like this for a day, and then put it like that for a day and see what happens. This little zinc sticker, I'll re-glue that on after I paint it. Well, see what a gallon does in here. Okay, good. Wow, it smells like chewing gum. Oh wow, it's having some kind of reaction. Harmful if inhaled. Oh shit, it's starting to foam up too. I'm gonna take this outside. I'm going to take this outside for two reasons. It's starting to foam up and gain in volume, but also it smells like crazy in here now, and it can't be good for me to be breathing that, so I will take this outside. It's got to be everywhere it needs to get. So let's take this out. Oh, it's very hot also. This pan's getting really hot. Foaming up a lot. I'm gonna have to put a plastic bag around it to try and catch all the foam and keep it in there. Alright, well, this is turning into kind of a fiasco. Couple things. The aluminum pan is getting so hot I can't touch it, so it's probably gonna melt this plastic. The aluminum container had a leak, or the barnacle buster just wore right through it. I'm not really sure about that. So the saga continues. You know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to transfer all this. I'm going to transfer all this to this thing. This is an oil container that's also plastic, like this, I would guess. So I'm going to transfer it into this. This is out of control. Well, this isn't how I wanted to clean the heat exchanger. Okay, at this point I'm thinking it's having a reaction with the aluminum, and I'm going to have to pour it out of the pan. Alright, well, this is officially the worst outcome of a project so far. Well, I'm not sure what to do, but I think this pan is melting and it's making noises. I'm not sure what to do with it, but I'm going to leave it on the cement out here so whatever is going to happen to it can finish happening.